You or your spouse have filed for divorce in Massachusetts. Your case is underway. Now what do you do? Where do your children sleep? Who pays the bills? Can you leave the state with your children? That's what we're going to talk about today, about temporary orders in a Massachusetts divorce. Hello, I'm attorney Paul Whalen from Afford Law. At Afford Law, we practice criminal and family law throughout Massachusetts. Our fees are all based on a sliding scale, which is based on your income. That means the less you make, the less you pay. So let's say that your divorce is underway. You filed for the divorce, either you or your spouse. Now the big question is, what happens next? So that divorce is going to take several months at least, probably, to complete. So in the meantime, you have to figure out where the children will stay, who has custody, how will the children's bills be paid, who's going to have health insurance, a whole host of issues. That's where temporary orders come in. So I highly recommend that if you're going into a divorce, you want to get a temporary order as soon as possible. Sometimes couples can work these things out between themselves. They can come to an agreement. More often than not, that's not the case, however. So what happens is you'll want to have a court order spelling out everybody's responsibilities, obligations, and so forth. So a temporary orders are when somebody files a motion, and a motion is just a piece of paper. It's a document filed with the court explaining exactly what it is that you're asking the court to do and why the court should grant your request. You will whoever files it will have to serve that on the other party, and the two of you will go to court for a hearing on temporary orders. The judge is going to have a number of issues that will be before him or her in making this decision. So, if you have children together, that's generally one of the most important things in a divorce, and you'll want to have that settled. So, you'll need to address child custody, temporary child custody. Again, custody is divided into physical custody and legal custody. Legal custody is who makes decisions, important decisions about the child's upbringing. Decisions such as where the child goes to school, religious upbringings, healthcare decisions, and so forth. Physical custody is where the child resides. Where does a child sleep most of the nights? Someone will be the custodial parent, someone will be the non custodial parent. That's a very important decision that has to be addressed because you want to have that in place. Otherwise, there's nothing that's preventing either party from taking the children and bringing them to their home exclusively. So you want to establish custody and a visitation schedule for whoever doesn't have physical custody. And you'll want to come up with a reasonable parenting visiting plan so that the other party can enjoy the child's company and continue to form a bond with the children. So child custody is one of the big issues. Child support goes along with that. So if there is a non-custodial parent, that person is almost assuredly will be responsible financially to help support the children. How much child support will be required? That has to be addressed in a temporary order as well. Another big question is who gets use of the marital property, the marital home, if you who pays the mortgage or the rent on that home. So oftentimes, people who are going through a divorce cannot share the same home together because of obvious conflicts. So one person is probably going to have to move out. The court will sometimes decide who that person is. So if you're looking to get exclusive use and control of the marital home, you'll want to file a motion for temporary orders and to have the judge order that. So the judge, when you go to the hearing, the judge will address that issue and say, you'll get the home, you'll have to move out, or the other way around. So the use of marital home certainly in the short term is extremely important. Now, how do the bills get paid? That's going to be another issue. Who pays, as I say, the rent and the mortgage? Who's going to pay the utility bills? Who pays for the children's daycare, if any? The children's extracurricular activity? All those kinds of things must be addressed in a temporary order. Spousal support is another issue that might be addressed. So if there's one person that's dependent financially on the other, there'll need to be an order in place for the short term to make sure that that person is supported and continues to live in the lifestyle to which they've grown accustomed, as long as that's feasible. So the court will have to look at that as well. So you can see the complexity of divorce, temporary orders in a divorce. The same issues that will have to be decided at the end of the divorce have to be addressed at the beginning of the divorce to put that order in place while your case is going through the court system. That order will stay in place until the end of the case, and perhaps it'll be the same type of situation. So a temporary order can be very reflective of what the permanent order is going to be. Or you can modify a temporary order. So modifying a temporary order is just like modifying a permanent order. You must be able to show the court that there has been a substantial and material change of circumstances since the last time the order was entered. So you can't go before the judge just on a small change in circumstances. It has to be something that is very, very important. It's fundamental to the relationship and to your lives before the judge will even entertain whether to change that order. So that's the hurdle you have to get over before you get in on any modifications to orders. So if you're going through a divorce, temporary order is extremely important because that's going to rule your life for the time being until the permanent orders go into place. And as a strategic point, if you get temporary custody of your children, the divorce is going to take, as I say, several months, probably could be longer than that. If the children are in your care, by the time it comes around for the permanent order to be put into place, you'll be able to show the court that, during this time, Judge, all these past months, I've been the one that's had the children. I'm the primary caregiver. I'm the one that gets them to school every day, feeds them, puts them to bed at night, and so forth. That's going to go a long way in the judge's mind to see who the primary caregiver is and where the child's best interests lie. So you want to get on top of that as well to put yourself in as good a position as possible for the outcome of your case. As I say, at Afford Law, we do practice criminal law and family law in Massachusetts. Our fees are all based on your income, so the less you make, the less you pay. Feel free to visit us at affordlaw.org. Feel free to book a free virtual appointment with me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about family law or criminal law questions in Massachusetts. Because at Afford Law, we're making justice affordable. Thank you.